Hello, my name is Adam Feltmate, and welcome to my science fair project. Mass extinction and natural selection. These are two very fundamental concepts that form one very fundamental question for my science fair project. But what are they really? What is natural selection? What is mass extinction? Now, the mass extinction event I'll be focusing on was the one that took place 65 million years ago. Now, this happened when a 6-mile wide meteorite slammed into what is now present-day Gulf of Mexico. It created a 186-mile wide crater, vaporized all life within 2,500 kilometers of the impact site, created earthquakes and tsunamis like the world has never seen before, acid rain and a layer of ash that covered the globe, wreaking havoc on plant life and subsequently the food chain. On the other hand, what is evolution? Now, evolution states that when a species develops a random characteristic upon birth and a trait throughout its life that it can pass on to future generations to help them survive, that will happen, creating an evolutionary pathway through generation to generation, creating the characteristics that species hold to help them survive. But how does mass extinction and natural selection form one fundamental question? Now, I've been interested in these 2 points my entire life, and when I set out to look at these 2 topics, there was one question that stood out to me that I couldn't figure out. How come the dinosaurs died and species like the mammals lived? What made it so that they could live and the others could die? So I could research this. I came up with the question, how did the characteristics of different species of animals affect their survival in the last mass extinction event 65 million years ago? And I set out to find my answer to this question. To summarize my findings, I found 3 common characteristics that I could tie to the last mass extinction and the species' abilities to survive. These 3 are, first of all, they are small. Nearly every species that survived the last mass extinction event was under 55 pounds. And over time, the evolution and the absence of the dinosaurs allowed them to take off and grow. Next, they could live underground or in water. Now, this was important because while the acid rain and the ash was going on and the earth was heating up and cooling down into an ice winter, you can't stay on the surface, or it would be nearly impossible to survive. Now, this enabled them to live underground or in the water and survive. And number 3, they could go without food for a long period of time. Now, with the dinosaurs, there are dinosaurs like the titanosaur, which can get up to 30 tons, up to 10 elephants in weight. Now, these dinosaurs don't have the luxury of not having constant food. As a result, they would sadly die. Now, the animals that were below 55 pounds and smaller had a smaller body, so they would need less food to survive and subsequently could survive in this post-apocalyptic world that they found themselves propelled into. I'd like to characterize the last mass extinction event into 5 distinct stages. 1. Impact. Meteorite slams into the Earth's surface, killing life, creating a snowball winter, extreme heating, acid rain, ash, earthquakes, tsunamis. 2. Aftermath. This is a slow time where the Earth is under heavy siege, and animals, like the dinosaurs, are slowly coming to starvation and dying out. 3. The emergence. The Earth is starting to recover, and animals are coming up from the ground and beginning to go back and into the new world and evolve to their new surrounding. 4. The rise. Evolution takes off, and the mammals become the apex species of the world. And 5. Expansion. This might start off in one place, but the mammals very quickly spread around the globe and become one of the iconic species after the last mass extinction event. But some people may ask, how do we know it was a meteorite? How do we know it wasn't just a coincidence, or it wasn't a big temperature shift that happened to kill out the animals? For one, yes, the crater in the Gulf of Mexico, where the meteorite slammed into, is virtually unrecognizable for the eye. There are caverns all around it. And two, the main reason is something called geological layering. It is when layer stacks upon layer and layer, layering up in sediment rock and creating a sort of time capsule to look back into the history and see what the Earth was like in the past. Now, from this geological layering, you can clearly see the last mass extinction event layer embedded in the rock. Now, that black layer is from the layer of ash and the meteorite rock that was hurtling around the Earth and eventually settled down that I was talking about. I would like to end off by thanking my science teacher, Mrs. Ingrid Skelly, who at my school, Maple Grove Public School, where I did all my research, providing me with the resources that I needed and the ability to contact the professionals and do a research project so I could pursue what I really enjoy. I would also like to give a huge thank you to all of the scientists who wrote papers, university professionals that answered my questions, and a big acknowledgement to Steve Burchard, author of The Rise and Fall of the Dinosaurs, who answered many of my questions about this topic. Finally, I'd like to thank you for listening to my science fair. I just want to end off by saying pursue what you love. Thank you.